What makes a good interview? Is it based on the story? Some people I have a rapport with right away, and you can tell by watching it. People are like, it just sparks everywhere. It's just magical, right? And then other people, it's flat. And is
Right.
that something that it's just director talking to an actor can coach, or is that just like this is going to be just a factual kind of interview?
Oh, that's interesting. I think that you're always going to have the dull and flat interviews. Like you can't, it's impossible to always just be 100%. Um, I feel like you're someone who's pretty present and in the moment. So
Yeah.
I would think that that's probably more of a guest thing where they're just maybe not used to being interviewed or aren't able to bring their like A game, so to speak, that day. I think people are always surprised at how much listening is actually involved in doing an interview. Someone who's not in that mood, and I'm expecting them to like adjust accordingly to where I am, whereas really it's I should be adjusting to where they are. So if they're feeling down, like, and I'm in a great mood, I'm going to kind of get down to their level so that we can talk in whatever space they're in, or the other way around.
That's so much like stand up. I would host a lot of shows, and you like your job as a host is you warm up the audience, right? But I would prepare things to say. So I'd be like, hey, bang, 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 here's my set. And then based off the audience's energy, if I'm doing a good job, I need to forget my set and just like, even if I'm using the same words, I need to forget the energy that I came in with and meet them where they are. Because it's really for them. It's not for me. I mean, it is for me, but like, I don't want them to know that.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
It's both.
come back.
Sorry, I was just.
And he's gone. Why do you make documentaries and not like, I don't even know the right word, but like a movie with a script?
A real movie?
Well, because for me, the best part is living in a different world for the duration of a project. And if you're doing a doc, you don't get to escape from this world. And for me, that would defeat the purpose.
So I started making documentaries really because I wanted to just go and make a movie, and I didn't have the money to make a scripted movie.
Right.
Whereas a documentary, I could go shoot on a camera that I got off of eBay for a couple $100 and go and just film endlessly and come back and edit a movie. It's just practical. Like when the camera shakes in a documentary, you're like, oh, it's more authentic or charming, and it's more real.
Although now I feel like they use that shaky handheld effect in everything.
Succession wants to be a documentary
so badly.
It's
like The Rich Office.
Yeah, right. I think if you're a straight white male like myself, I would never blame if I didn't get like a project going or a show that I'm in. If it wasn't greenlit, I wouldn't be like, oh, they're against straight white guys.
I mean, that's interesting that you say that, because that's definitely the feeling.
Well, welcome to what everyone else has had to deal with in the history of the world.
Yeah. Of all the people you interviewed, what was the most surprising and or interesting?
Oh shit.
Other than this one. Although I'm interviewing you.
This one isn't included?
Well, because I'm interviewing you technically.
Oh. All right. So I'd say the most interesting interview I've ever done, for me anyway, was when I interviewed Ryan Ferguson in prison in Missouri. I was like in my mid to late 20s, I think. Ryan was also, and we were like very similar. We had a lot of similar interests, but he was in prison he had been in prison for almost 10 years for a murder that he had nothing to do with. And I was like making TV shows and movies, and life was great. And I just remembered walking into that maximum security prison and interviewing this guy who had every reason to just hate the world. A district attorney manipulated all this evidence to fake that Ryan was actually guilty, to trick, I should say, the jury.
Don't give it away. Everyone should watch Dream Killer on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. And I just remember interviewing him and him having no self-pity, like just didn't feel bad for himself, just an ounce. He was just like, yep, this happened to me. Now I got to do this to prove my innocence. Everything had gone against him, but he had, like I said, zero self-pity. And to me, that like is a reminder. Anytime that I think of complaining or I'm upset about something, there's a part of me that I think has that in the back of my mind.
That's cool. Yeah. I cried watching that movie too, but you were supposed to. You know what? Like, I think this is why I need to do comedy, because I have to like keep the shell hard. Because if I watch anything that's like a feelings piece, like your work, I lose it.
I feel like comedians and documentary filmmakers are very similar. Because I think to be a comedian or to do documentaries, you likely are very observant, and you make like what is only a story, you turn into like this big thing. So a bad example, terrible example, but would be like a comedian would be like, so what's the deal with O.J. Simpson? And they pick out all these like unique facets to the case and to O.J., and they somehow like tell this really intricate joke about O.J. Simpson. Then there's documentarians or documentary person. And documentary person looks at the O.J. story and they're like, huh, yeah. And they'll make like an 8-hour special about O.J. Simpson and what was going on in the world at the time and what it says about us as a society and the whole thing. And I think there's like that common trait of wanting to like look at something and parse it out or try and distill meaning from it. And that's my comparison of the two.
You have told me that twice, but I like it. So I think the third time's the charm. You are a longtime advocate for mental health, and I have seen a lot on social about people struggling during this. And I know that like I have moments, like what would you say to people that are freaking out?
I feel like some good things to do would definitely be to reach out to someone, even if you don't think that they will be engaged or care. There's very little harm in trying to reach out to someone and talk to them that can help. And then also I think there's no silver bullet. Like there isn't going to be one thing that is going to...
Sorry, silver bullet, you mean, is that a werewolf reference? You mean like it was something that would kill a werewolf?
You know the expression silver bullet, no?
In terms of killing a werewolf, yeah.
No, like a silver bullet is like, am I making this up? Hold on, wait, let me double check this.
And you use a piece of wood for a vampire, and for a ghost, you just release them.
No, I mean, yes.
The basics of Halloween, Andrew.
What you ask 5 of your friends if they know the expression silver bullet.
I will.
And all 5 of them will know.
Okay. What does the phrase "it's not a silver bullet" mean to you?
It's not a silver bullet, meaning it's not something that can kind of cure everything or win out against everything.
Where does it come from?
I don't know. My guess would be some kind of like Western folklore, some sort of like old, I'm sure maybe there was like this is a total guess, but I would think there was some kind of like famous outlaw who had a gun that had silver bullets.
It's not exactly a silver. I mean, no.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm sure you're like, when you're not feeling well, you have friends or family that you can reach out to and talk to, and that, again, isn't the silver bullet, but it might
It's like a stake through the heart.
help in some capacity.
It's like calling the Ghostbusters.
Very similar to calling the Ghostbusters.